Yes. I suppose we should talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah, so we've decided, it was a group decision, we decided that Wings of Redemption wasn't going to continue with us on the show for at least the foreseeable future. He's got a lot of stuff that he needs to work out before he's, up to par with what we need from him. He's having a hard time, and he's made some decisions that we didn't feel were so friendly. So for the time being, we're gonna continue without him. We have not replaced him with anyone. Chiz is our guest tonight, and we will be looking into someone who will fill in more of a long-term role. That may be Chiz. That may be, it might be Pootie Pie. It's gonna be somebody. We'll find out soon.
Yep. I know that I feel like the subreddit. We've been super active on the subreddit. I know all those guys that are probably watching right now. It's called PKA. If you're a Redditor, you might know how to find a subreddit. And I think a lot of people would like a laundry list that kind of explains how we arrived at our decision. And I don't know what Lefty's smiling at.
Yeah, and the laundry list really wouldn't be fair to Wings. We don't want to
Exactly.
trash Wings. We don't want to call Wings out. We don't like doing that. But suffice it to say, he's made some decisions, not just recently. It's not something he did recently necessarily. It's just it's everything that he's done that has kind of added up together. And that's why we made this decision.
And
So.
if Kyle or I or anybody were to sit here and list out everything that we didn't think was the right way to go about things over the last couple of years, without him here to defend himself or give his side, then that would be inappropriate. So
Correct.
And then the other thing is, like, I saw a video go up. It was like Wings of Redemption versus Woody's Gamer Tag. I haven't said anything negative about Wings in the public space. I am not here to tear the guy down. I hope that he succeeds. I want him to succeed in social media. I want him to succeed in his life, in his family, in his love life. And like I am not here like rooting for this guy to fail. You guys have heard me talk many times about my list of people to kill. Wings of Redemption is not on that list. Wings of Redemption is on the other list.
I can confirm. I've seen the list.
I hope that Wings does well in his life, and I'm not sitting here rooting against him. That's just not how this is. So if you see, like, some sort of opportunist try to drum up drama and act like this is a Wings versus Woody thing, don't get it twisted. It was really the cast of the show. Not the case at all. The cast of the show just decided that that we'd be better off this way.
Yeah.
We should go through the more downfall aspect regarding him and PKA, where the survival trip was coming about.
I've heard a little bit about this, so I'm kind of curious about the details on this, because from what I understand, didn't he initially agree to something and then at the last minute cancel out on you guys? So he led you along to believe something was going to happen and then didn't give you the courtesy of just saying outright no, or even a heads up, can we try again for another time, kind of thing.
Yeah, this is another example of
right.
This is another example of us as a show trying to do things outside the show, outside of just what we're doing here tonight. I guess we'd been watching a lot of Bear Grylls and Survivor Man and that sort of thing, and it was very popular at the time, and we were into it. We all liked watching them survive in the wilderness with minimal tools and such, and somehow it came up, hey, let's do a survival trip. Let's go out into the wilderness, the three of us, and let's see how we fare. And everybody was on board except for one. I was going to mention the Lefty thing. There were four of us on the show at that point. Taylor was not on the show. It was myself, Woody, Wings, and a fourth gentleman named Lefty. And Lefty, when this came up, he was like, that's not for me, boys. That's not my game. I don't think I'd fare very well. I wouldn't enjoy it. I'm sorry. I'm out. We were very respectful of that, Woody and I. We were like, well, all right, man. Cool beans. You don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. Nobody here's going to give you. And then Wings interjects. A real man goes into the wilderness and survives. A real man does this and that. A real man does blah, blah, blah. Lefty's from Chicago. So he's like, Chicago. Yeah. If I had my passport, I'd come up there to Chicago and whoop your lily-livered ass. This is the sort of like mindset that he has.
That was a side joke Kyle just mentioned because Wings thought that you needed a passport to go state to state.
Oh wait, no, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, he really is. Introvert.
And so, you know, we were like, he threw Lefty really under the bus there because Lefty didn't want to do this thing. Like, and you know, privately, I would have liked Lefty to come on the show. Of course, you know, four people on a trip is better than 3. 5 is even better, but 3 is acceptable, I suppose. So planning begins. Lots of planning. We're looking at satellite images of potential locations. We settle on this place called the Uwharrie National Wilderness Forest in North Carolina. It's a true wilderness. It's I think it's a federal park or a state park, something like that. But you can go out there, you can camp, and we settle on a date. We all figure up, you know, when we're going to arrive. We
started
find like
divvying up skill sets, right? Like Kyle was the hunter. I'm particularly good at starting fires. I don't recall what Wings' was, but he was working on fires too. And we were just like all thinking about how we were going to succeed at this.
Yeah, and leading up to it, we're making videos, talking about it. Like one of the things was that we kind of got fixated on was starting fires with flint and steel. And so I made a quick video on one of my YouTube channels of me in my backyard making a fire with flint and steel. You know, it's a little annoying at first, but once you get the knack of it, you can do it. Wings made 4 videos of him making fire with flint and steel and never accomplished it. He uploaded all 4 failures. They failed in various ways. They would be a cut between him going ch, and the camera would cut and it would come back on, and then there was a big pile of leaves on fire, and you were like
18 inches tall, like the fire.
What the fuck? What happened? Like he just got out a big lighter and lit some leaves on fire in his backyard. And again, they're like leaves you'd rake up in your backyard. I'm going literally into the woods and like scratching trees with a knife.
You found a bird's nest and lit it on fire.
Yeah.
I got really upset about that. I don't know why.
You lit a bird's nest on fire?
Yeah.
Well, they weren't in it. So
Like
the
that
day
cat.
comes. It's time to do this thing. And so I set out on this quite long drive. I'm going to say it's 5.5 hours from where I lived at the time to where we're doing this thing. So if I leave the night before, I'm going to get a motel room in the area 30 minutes from the meetup location. And that way I don't have to drive, you know, early in the morning. I don't want to leave my house at 5 a.m., get there at 10 a.m. and be already just kind of out of it before we begin hiking and surviving and such. So I'm driving in the night before, and I think to myself, hey, let me give old Wings a call, make sure we're all good to go here, you know, because it's Wings. Call him up, say, hey, man, you get ready to do this thing. I'm driving in now, about 3 hours from the place. What are you up to? You know, you could if you left right now, you'd be here around 11, and you know, you could share this motel room with me. I could get a room with 2 beds or so. He's like, I'm not going. I'm like, what? What do you mean? I'm not coming. When were you going to tell me? Well, I'm telling you right now. What the? So I call. I text Woody. I'm like, he's not going. He's not going. And so Woody gets on the phone with him. Woody tries to talk, and I'm thinking like Woody's going to talk him into this. I'm still driving with this idea. Woody will talk him into this. Woody's a great motivational speaker when he needs to be, and I'm sure Woody was filling him with
compilations of me telling Wings, like, you know, if you want to be an extraordinary person, you have to do extraordinary things.
Be a winner, not a loser. Be a doer, not a don'ter. You know,
Very Henry Rollins-esque. Yeah.
Yeah, this sort of talk. You know, and he just doesn't come. He just doesn't come. And it's now it's just me and Woody in the woods. Now it's just kind of weird.
It got gay.
It got a little gay. It's like I hope nobody sees me and this 40-year-old man just driving off
practically
into the
a
dark.
pedophile with Kyle.
Yeah. So it really took the wind out of our sails, and you know, I ended up getting violently ill like on the first night of the survival trip. I think from some tainted tap water. But in any case, like
no, it was because you weren't very good at swimming through that stream and you swallowed stream
my
water.
theory.
That's exactly what I did. Yeah, I drank some river water, and I think that's what I was vomiting like for
I was
hours.
swimming all over that river like it was nothing. Like, I see a frog out there yonder. I'll go get it. You know, I think I shot a turtle.
So he left you guys high and dry then. You had this all set up, all ready to go. It was going to be this big thing, and then at the last minute, you talking to him, and he says, No, I don't think so.
What's it going to notify us? I think that the next morning at 9 a.m., we were just gonna, Woody and I would have pulled up to that bait and tackle shop / restaurant, and just been sitting there at the table and be like, no, we don't want to order yet. Our friend's coming. And like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour would have gone by. I'm like, no, we're hungry, but it's lunch now. Well, we'll wait for our friend. And he just never would have fucking shown. I don't think he was ever going to notify us that he wasn't fucking coming if I hadn't called him and asked. It was absurd. And it made me so goddamn mad.
Yeah, I'd have been pissed.
Made me so goddamn mad that I went on our subreddit and I was like, I've been pushed to the edge. I'm typing this message. I've been pushed to the edge.
No
I can't take it anymore.
Play like a
no
champion.
Excuses. Play like a champion. Like rule number 34. No excuses. Play like a champion. Which is from that movie Wedding Crashers. They got rules for wedding crashing. Mm-hmm. And I can't believe this. He's not coming. He has no excuse. He has no reasoning. He's just literally afraid of the woods and doesn't want to come. And
Exhibit A in the at his core, bravery is just not an attribute that he has.
And so that was the downfall of Wings on the show. That was the straw that broke the camel's back, I believe. He was also showing up late for shows, right? We scheduled
different ones. I think for Kyle, bailing on the survival trip was a really big offense.
It was.
For me, I didn't like it, but I could almost take it or leave it. It was like, all right, Wings isn't here. The survival trip, I felt like just got a little easier. I didn't expect him to pull his weight.
Funny.
I expected, well, true, for sure. Yeah. No, I wish he was there, but there was at least a little part of me that was like, well, now I don't have to find 1.5 persons worth of food, like me and a half. And you would have, I sort of thought we were going to, he was going to do less than his share. So it wasn't like a big criminal offense to me. I had harbored other things. Like remember the guy we talked about? Wings gave him money.
Is this the okay, let me read this out before you go into the story. Maybe you can tell me if this is accurate or not. Because like I said, there's information posted everywhere and I don't know what's real or not. And this was, I believe, from 2014 or 2015. Earlier this year, it was revealed that he worked as a double agent helping a YouTube troll attack a 10-year-old autistic son of one of his friends. Is that talking about you?
That sounds like it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So this guy, the one that, challenged me to fight him and we organized it, he also would he'd be like, give me money. I want to go to Europe or I want to do this or I want a car. I don't know what he wanted money for. And Wings donated to him. And I felt like that, for me, that was a real betrayal, right? This is a guy who doesn't just attack me, he attacks my wife and my children.
Wait, no, I'm sorry, say that again. So the guy that's screwing with you and your family, he gave him money?
Yes. Yeah, via PayPal.
Why?
Because this dude that was attacking Woody's family, obviously Jesus, his channel was named. He also, as a different thing not related to Woody, was like, oh, I really, I'm feeling depressed and I'm all, in a bad headspace. I would feel really way better if I could go on a 3-week, no thinking about anything European vacation. So donate to my European vacation. Oh, also, I need a new gaming PC. That would really pull me out of this funk. And so that's basically what he was doing, e-begging for vacations.
that makes no fucking sense. You guys were doing a show together at the time, yeah?
We were friends. Yep.
Mm-hmm. You're friends with him and you're doing a show together and the guy that's fucking with you, he gives him money.
Yeah,
that's not the only one. Yeah, there was another guy. His name was Thunder Toro. And Thunder's channel is doing well at this point, but he hates me. He hates me, I think, because he was a better gamer than me, but I was more successful on YouTube. And I think that's the core of it. I never talked to him or anything. And he uploaded a video where his friend said that my son was and I didn't like it, so I uploaded a response.
Well, yeah, it's understandable.
And I gave that comment 2 thumbs down.
Yeah. Wings, on the other hand, was giving him search engine optimization advice and how to grow his channel, and he was doing really well. And Wings took some credit.
Oh, well, you know what? Fuck this guy then. How is he going to cry about compilation videos and be like, the trolls are coming to get me when he's funding people that are fucking with you?
That's that.
Exactly.
You know what? We're of the same mind on this one.
No fucking pity. Fuck him.
Yeah. And Wings was like, Woody, I feel like you're making me choose between you and him. And I was like, I am. That was the day I decided not to fix his desk. right? That was it. That was the.
You're way too nice, man. I'm surprised you didn't just kick his ass
We're
to the
nice
curb.
people.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Wings had this guy who was totally underqualified, and he gave him like thousands of dollars to make a desk. And the core of it is the guy messed up the epoxy job. So I was like, stick the thing on a trailer, bring it to my house. I will fix it for you. I will sand it down. I'll finish it properly. I'll get it all done. Woodworking is something that I'm good at. And we were all, it fell through, I guess, or got delayed because Wings insisted on bringing these felons over to my house. Like, I guess he has these friends with felony convictions. But
What the fuck is
Yeah,
with this guy?
but,
Right?
right, and I've got like kids and
sure.
like a girl and a boy in grade school at this point, and he just wants to bring the felons over, and I'm like, no, let's, how about it's just you? But like I said, Wings doesn't really leave town, so he didn't want to drive a few hours without, I don't know, some muscle. I'm not sure why he was so
I don't think
insistent.
the felons should be leaving town.
Muscle.
Yeah, so he just
He's like, but we got to
insisted.
keep this on the down low. They're not technically allowed to leave South Carolina.
So and yeah, the night that like it all went down, and he's like, I feel like I have to choose between you and Thunder. I want to give him help growing his channel while he attacks your family. And I was like, fuck it, fuck you. You can let Thunder fix your desk. And that's how the desk thing fell through.
Can I ask you a question? Just it sounds really cold-hearted on his part, right? It doesn't even make sense rationally, really, when you think about it. So he's doing these kind of shows with you guys. You've got a big sub base. You got a lot of viewers. This Thunder guy, did he ever do anything for Wings? Like, Wings is sitting at 200 people watching his fucking streams right now. So where is the people he funded that fucked with you? Are they helping him right now?
No.
No.
They're
Wings
gone.
isn't
So Wings is a
socially-
giant retard then, right? I mean, that's kind of
socially,
the consensus.
Yeah. Like
Socially.
I
yeah.
haven't seen his test scores.
Yeah, I felt like Wings wronged me for a long time, and we got here from the survival trip, right? So I think that for Kyle, the biggest offense Wings committed was bailing on the survival trip, especially the way he did it, attacking Lefty for a month on being such a pussy, and then turning out to be an equivalent pussy. For me, that was just the straw that broke the camel's back. It was 1% of why I was fed up with Wings.
Yeah, so you had a deeper history running with the guy, with the stuff that he'd been doing.
Yeah.
You don't even
Yeah.
need a history for him to get upset with you. The first time I ever played a game with Wings of Redemption, actually, Kyle and Woody, you were both there. This was like, what, 8 years ago now? Where we were
This
playing
is,
Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
And we were playing Domination, and our team was thrashing them. We were up, like, the games were played to 200. I'm not sure if you played that game, but it was like 180 to like 40 or something ridiculous. We were thrashing them. And I was really close to my kill streak, and we had them pinned in the spawn. And I'm like, I'm just going to run in there and shoot a few people, get my score streak, and then get a few kills with it before the end of the game. I get up, run into their spawn, kill a couple people. Someone spawns behind Wings, who's in his general tactic, camping behind something, like head glitching out and getting pop, 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 and he gets shot from behind, and he starts screaming like, "Who the fuck ruined the spawn trap? Who the fuck is Mercadurka? Who the fuck is Mercadurka?" Just screaming. And at this point, like, I'm like, I don't know these guys well enough. Like, I know Kyle and Woody. Like, I feel like they'll back me up. And then, of course, at the time, Wings was the biggest channel of all of us. And so everybody was kind of giving their respects of like, yeah, that was Taylor. You shouldn't have done that. And I was like, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean anything by it. He's like, well, you fucked it up. I almost had a nuke. I was 22 kill or whatever the fuck he was
Taylor's
saying. It was
like 15 at this point.
This is like 8 years ago, so I'm like 19.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Like it was the most angry I've ever heard anyone in any game for any reason, and we won handily by a lot. And so I don't know. It was just like an eye-opening thing of like, wow, this guy really gives a fuck.
I had a
this.
group
And then
of people...
he as soon as that happened, removed me from his friends list and wanted me kicked from the group.
Oh, that was it, huh? You were thrown out to the wolves for that
Yep.
offense, yeah?
Yep.
If I could ask you one final question, I guess, because I probably am going to be doing a video on this guy. It's too interesting not to. Where do you think, because you guys, you're much more familiar than I am, right, with this guy. You've interacted with him more. You have more of a history. In a year's time, where do you see him? In 2 years' time, where do you see him? Is he going to still be on the internet holding on to 20 subs, or is he going to finally have like a eureka moment and get a job or get in shape? Or where do you see it playing out? How do you think this is going to end?
You want to go first?
I think that he won't get the surgery, that the money will get spent on just general living expenses. He's not going to go out and buy a Roush again or whatever, but he'll stream a little less often. There won't be an urgency. He won't be like hungry. He'll live off of the good times that he's had in 2018 because he's making money right now. And then come 2019, we'll start again. And he'll raise money with the promise of a surgery.
His fallback plan has long been to go on to disability if he can get it. So if he could ever swing that, that'll be his lot in life. The money he has right now, let's call it $25,000, could be $35,000. There's a couple of things he could spend that money on. He owes roughly that on his modular home. And by his modular home, I mean his mother's modular home, that they have an agreement with one or another that whenever he pays it off, she'll sign it over to him. Although she's broken that agreement once before when he paid it off, so
is modular home what you're supposed to call double wides?
It's what he calls a double wide.
Okay. It's a very fancy name for it. It's very
modular. It's like a couch that you can move around in your living room, right? Modular? No.
Yeah, like a sectional that you can disassemble. Yeah.
Well, wait. How could she have broken it? So did he take out a second mortgage on it then? If it was already paid off once, how could she? Oh, she did.
He paid the house off once, thinking that it was his house, and then she was like, "Second mortgage time," and he's like, "Oh no!" And so now he's paid off the second mortgage up to I don't know, $10,000, something like that, 15, 20, whatever. And so she has told him that the next time he pays it off, she will sell it to him for $1. Essentially.
Oh, she super swears this time. Pinky swears this time.
And she's reliable. Yeah. No, I think that he actually will lose the weight eventually, and I think it's going to come from some kind of real health thing. Like not like going to the doctor and them saying, "Oh, your heart's a little fucked up" or whatever. Like it's something big is going to happen because you can't age at that weight and continue to gain weight until shit gets real eventually. Like I feel like a heart attack or something like that is going to happen. And that'll actually scare the shit out of him and be like, I don't want to die. Like, yeah, like this sucks doing Twitch and getting made fun of or whatever and not capitalizing on the many opportunities I've been handed, but I don't want to die. And so, I don't think he'll ever be a fucking triathlete, but I think at some point a big enough scare is going to get him that he will start declining in weight. But who knows about what that will mean for his actual life, if he gets a real job, if he does what.
Well, yeah, I'm probably going to have a video out more than likely by the end of the month or the first week of next month on this. I will put a little, I don't know, maybe like a little poll as a pinned comment so people can come back a year from the video's release just to see if the speculation on where his lot in life would be ends up being close to what it actually is. Because, again, I don't know him, but I don't think he's ever going to get the surgery. I think he's just going to get angrier and angrier, and the sub count's going to keep dropping. And I don't know where he's going to end up, but I don't know. It seems like he really hates what he does, but I can't picture him doing anything else. Does he have any? I don't see like a skill set where he's going to be like, hey, come let me work at the Fortune 500 company, or hey, come let me be an auto mechanic, or hey, let me come do something like this. Because
he was a metallurgical engineer.
That's not actually true, but he said it. So it's
metallurgical engineer, huh?
Yeah, but he didn't know that aluminum and steel were different things.
No, aluminized steel. Yeah.
I'm very confused.
That's what it was. Yeah.
But like, so I've known Wings for 8-9 years now, something like that. Like I knew Wings when I opened my channel. Like I had 38 subs, I think, when I met him. So in all that time, in the last 9 years, he hasn't demonstrated the like get up and do it or bravery to make a change in his life. Instead, for the last 9 years, he's just taken whatever kind of came to him. He doesn't go out and get it. He gets what comes to him. And I haven't seen anything that will imply a different path than that. And what will come to him naturally? Well, the same thing we're watching right now. Some pity donations, some streaming, some controller throwing.
I think that someone in his life is going to get a hold of that money, and he's going to be broke again. And I don't think he's ever going to stop doing what he's doing because it earns well. You've mentioned a couple times he doesn't have quite that many viewers. He's making $5-6 grand a month, and it every month, without fail.
Is he? Wait, is he really?
Oh yeah.
Is that from
Oh, yeah.
YouTube ad revenue, or is that from
No,
just
no, no.
views?
It's from Twitch donations and Twitch subscriptions. You know, each Twitch subscription is paying him a few bucks, and then he gets donations. Like the night that I went on with him, he made $1,500 cash just in donations. And there's been other nights where he'd make $1,200 cash in donations. You know, if there's a couple of fans of ours that are mutual fans, you know, they go back and forth that have money, and they'll go in there and they get in a little bidding war with one another. I gave him 100, and the other guy, I gave him 200. Well, I'll give him 300. And before you know it, between the two guys, they've given him $800 or $900, and then that gets everybody else fired up, and 400 or 500 more will flow in, and you know he makes good money.
He'll put the room in
that's
sub-only
shocking.
mode, and people will sub so they can still troll him. He makes money.
Yeah, that's true.
He puts it in sub-only mode so that the trolls will be silenced, but then the trolls donate in there. They speak up again. He's he's making money, and you know, like $5,000 a month. What is that? 60 grand a year.
Yes,
It's not rich and famous, but what other jobs do you make 60 grand a year with no skills?
Right.
Yeah, doing it on your own time, just sitting at your computer playing something that, you know, you may say, oh, I hate this video game. It's like, okay, would you rather be doing this or working at McDonald's or renting someone a car at Hertz or whatever the fuck? Like,
And how many?
you really
hours
didn't
a
like
week-
that job.
I don't know how
What?
many hours a week he worked, too. Like I feel like he's making 60 grand a year and, you know, working less than 40 hours a week.
I guess my appraisal was wrong. I thought he was making much less than that. I was going just based on sub numbers and kind of what the activity that I saw on his stream. I thought he was more like around $2,000 a month, if that.
When he tells people, you better fucking donate or on this stream, they do.
Yeah.
Why? Oh, wow, that's fascinating.
He cracks the
all right.
whip, and they fill the coffers.
He's a lion tamer.
yeah. I like how there's no consideration for his loyal viewers, like in the way he handles the stream, in that someone will write, "You're doing great tonight, Wings. You know, $10 from, you know, whoever 69," and then 2 minutes later he'll be like, "Oh man, that guy made you look awful. He totally outmaneuvered you or whatever the fuck. Like, ban that guy forever and ever. If you question my gaming ability, ban." What was the quote he said? "If you question my gaming ability, mods ban him.
Anyone who questions my
Anyone
gaming
who
skill,
questions
ban
my
them."
gaming skill, ban them."
Isn't that great?
Like, no, that's not a way that you foster a fun environment of people who want to pay you money.
Right?
It's the way you piss people off.
Who are we
Yeah,
to tell him how to make money streaming, right? I got
I'm
a
shocked. It
1099
really-
from Twitch. I made $23 last year. You know?
Damn!
I should be asking him for help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still get my machinima checks. I haven't uploaded anything since 2013, and it's like, for a while I was hoping like just to get below $400 so I don't have to like talk about this on my taxes, you know, because if it's any more than 400,
Is
yeah,
it
it's-
4 or
at least
6? Anyway.
in Missouri it is, but
Okay.
yeah.
On the PKA thing, like a lot of times people accuse me of stealing PKA from you, and that hurts my feelings. It's like a baby.
It's not stealing, but the way I've always worded it is it was kind of a me and Kyle thing, and we had to convince you to come along, and you kind of made it better.
Okay, I might get with that. So the way that it happened was before it even started. We were all on a call, and we were having these Skype calls that were great, right? We would just hang out on Skype. I don't want to say every night, but like a lot, like most nights. And it was like people would love these conversations. And Hutch and Scene Anders and Trump were doing, was it called Host Migration? What was their
It was host migration.
Host Migration? And you were like, we should do that too. And my first reaction was like, nah, you know, no one would want to watch
We
us.
can't hang with the superstars.
Yeah, right. Like Hutch and Scene Anners were these, superstars. Perfect word. You know, who would watch us? And then it was maybe like 2 or 3 days later, maybe 2, before the first episode. I was like, you know what? I do want to do this. I think it'll be cool. And I've lost a lot of capital in those 2 days when I just lacked confidence. Like I was there for show 1. You know, like it.
Right.
You know,
and the reason I say it that way is because like those 2 days, like me and Kyle made the money and we bought the we did a video. I remember the video in my head. It was a video on Invasion and Modern Warfare 2, and we asked for donations to buy the actual Podbean, and that's where we kind of ran through it, and that's where we kind of ran through it at, and like I pulled the train for like the first 40 episodes, and then you and Kyle kind of like ran past me with a head of steam, and then you guys started pulling the train.
Oh, do you mean in terms of like popularity?
Right.
Oh, I thought you meant in terms of like the workload and stuff, because that's
Well, I'm not trying to sound like egotistical now, but like
no, you're
I
right.
was the
No.
I was the pulling power for like the first 30 or 40 episodes.
Yep, I'd agree with that. Yeah, and then I was, and then Kyle was. Although,
Right.
Yeah. So,
But like the reason, because I don't know if people out there even remember this far back. It's been years. I handpicked Kyle and Woody because I wanted to do the idea, and then I'm like, who would I do this with? And obviously, you guys were my closest like online buddies.
mm-hmm.
But like I felt like you were really, really brought a lot to the table. Kyle was a very charismatic. He was very personable. I met Kyle through a guy named the Moody Swede.
I remember him.
He gave Kyle a shout out, and I'm like, I want to give Kyle a shout out too. You know? And like I met you through a message, like an actual YouTube message.
You were doing dual comms, and I spammed you relentlessly until you gave me one.
You'd be shit out of luck to find me on a YouTube message nowadays. I don't think I've checked them in years.
Do they still have them?
Yeah, they do.
Me too.
If you send me anything on YouTube messages, it's probably in a graveyard somewhere.
I used to reply to every one of those for like 2 years.
I remember that, dude. You used to sit 2 hours of your day out after work and
so...
do like 400 comments.
Oh, it was a lot. I'd reply to so many people, and I think that's how Mail Monday originated. I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, so PKA though, like after you uploaded the first audio file and maybe the second, but they started getting late really quick. Like they weren't uploaded the day after the show or the night of the show, so I took it over. And
we all agreed that you should take it over because you were the tech guy.
Yeah, I was the tech guy, and then also I just, like was really willing to upload it like the next day and get it done.
You also had better internet.
Yep. And I think I still worked at Cisco at the time. Sometimes I uploaded from work. And then what else was I gonna say? Oh, and then booking guests, like that became a thing that was kind of split in between us. And
I always would go for the higher caliber guests, and like the guests I always pulled to the show. You guys have no clue who the fuck they were.
That happens now sometimes too. Like we got a guy.
You're getting better guests than I pull now, but like I pulled some really big name guests. Like Brad Jones was a pretty big guy, and we kind of glossed over him. Sage Francis, he's a world known rapper.
Yeah, he did a really good job too.
Yeah,
he might have been on twice.
Oh, I was only on one episode. But like that episode was actually really important to me because like that was one of my personal heroes in life.
I liked. Is it Big Wax? Is that his name?
Yeah,
I like that guy.
Mike Jones.
Yeah, I liked him too.
He's got the worst real name for rapping.
But the notion that I stole PKA from you, like I don't know. Like I'll tell you what is true. We all agreed together to do the show without you. This is awkward to talk about, I guess. But
you Lefty and Kyle agreed.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. A lot of people have this notion that it was because of this survival trip, and I don't want to put words in other people's mouths. They might even have changed their mind since then. But I think for some guys that's true, but not for me. Like for me, the survival trip, like I wanted you there, but the fact that you couldn't make it, I also didn't. I thought that you being there would mean that us, like Kyle and I, would have more work to do. That there'd be a certain amount of like making sure Wings is okay on the trip. That's what I thought. So when I heard you couldn't make it, I wished you were there because I thought it would make for a better show and better videos, and you're part of Painkiller already, and that's all the deal. But it wasn't like I didn't harbor the same kind of frustration that like
You know what the problem with that was? I let you guys know on Friday, and we were going on Sunday to Uari.
Yeah, it's pronounced like the three letters URE, but it's spelled crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Kyle had left a day early, and like you had like sent a message to Kyle, and Kyle's first response was like to sick the dogs on me.
That's not how I remember it.
That's how I remember it.
Here's
I had
how
to
I
go through
remember it. I remember you saying that you expressed that you didn't want to go a day or two before the trip. Like, that's true. And then in my memory, I persuaded you to go. I don't know if we can pull up the old Skype thing. It was so long ago. But it was like, look, if you want to be exceptional, you got to do exceptional things. I remember you were like, Woody, motivational speeches don't work on me. Do you remember that?
I do remember this. and I remember you didn't motivate me to go.
In my head, at least. I don't know what the text says. But I think Kyle would back me up on this. At the end of that conversation, you were a go. But it was like I don't want to use the word beat, but like we didn't drop it until you told us what we wanted to hear. But I think maybe in your heart, you never really decided to do it again.
The first 2 weeks leading up to the survival trip were kind of lopsided because I had 2 versus 1 the entire time there. Because like I would say, look, if we're going to go this far in the woods, let's bring a GPS because I don't want to get lost. You're like, no, we're manning it up, man up. And then I wanted to do it in April, and you guys wanted to. No, I wanted to do it in May, and you guys wanted to do it in April, and because at the time it was a exceptionally cold spring that year.
Wait a minute, what you told us was you didn't want to die before your 28th birthday.
That's exactly what I said.
That's such a horseshit reason.
But the reason I said that was because it was really freaking cold every day of that week, and then the forecast was like, it's going to rain. I was like, all right, so it's going to be like 40 degrees and raining. Man, I don't think I can build a shelter that well.
I hear you. The timing wasn't perfect. I forget why we were so determined on the timing, but sometimes...
I remember. You just wanted to get it going because it was like the first thing we actually agreed to do and set a date for. Like we always planned things. We never did things.
The setting the date was a big deal. Like I think we had set an earlier date where Lozon was going to make it, and then we had to change it, if I remember this right. And that happened on the second trip too. But it was like we agreed to a date that we could all do, which is aligning the stars. And once we had a date, you can't just push it a week, because you push it a week, all of a sudden Kyle's traveling to the moon or something to blow up a crater. You push it 2 weeks and Woody's going to a Minecraft convention, and you push it 3 weeks and Wings' family events or who knows what. But so once we all found a time period that worked for us, it's not like you could just be like, you know what, let's do it 3 weeks later and expect people to be available 3 weeks later.
But to kind of like defend myself, like you said, you had planned on like trying to take care of his wings going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was dead set on not having that happen. Like I was going into it like, I'm going to be fucking miserable. I'm going to be hungry. I'm going to be, I'm going to have headaches. I'm going to have hypoglycemic attacks, and all I have is these tablets to deal with it. And it's like, oh, this is going to be fucking miserable. But like after seeing the videos, I was like, it didn't look like a miserable time. It looked like a good time.
Until the night.
Well, it's probably not a good time for Kyle.
Yeah, that's the thing. The long running joke is that it was the turtle's ghost who, got him and made him sick or something. It might be that he drank the water, like we've always said, and it might be, but if I were a betting man, I think he arrived sick. I think he came there and he wasn't at 100%, and by that night he was throwing up a lot. It wasn't like he just threw up once; like he threw up like, I don't want to exaggerate, 5 times an hour, something like that. Like he was in awful shape.
That's beyond sick. That's dehydrating.
Well, no, we had water. Like
no, I'm just saying, like you're throwing up 5 times.
It'll dehydrate you. Yeah. Well, they weren't all that productive, but he was. We had to go, and then we wouldn't have done the river crossing if you were there.
Well, that's another thing I forgot completely about. I'm like, why the fuck are these fools want to cross a river?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's cold as shit.
It was dumb. It was really dumb. And I've crossed like way bigger, better, cooler rivers than that. Hell, I was doing flips into faster running rivers on the whitewater rafting trip. But something about like those rocks moved when you stepped on them. They were big, so you got big rocks like a cubic foot that moved when you stepped on them, and they were like perfectly slippery, more so than ice. And I had like a 40-pound pack on. That all combined made me 90 years old. Like I could hardly walk. I was feeble. I had a walking stick. I don't know. Kyle did it much better than me. Might have been his crazy Mandels, but
it was supposed to be a survival trip, and like the idea of survival was going to be there 5 days. So there's 5 days of hunger and exhaustion and things like that, and to cross things that we didn't need to do because we had the luxury of like putting our finger on a map and like we're going to go on this week. This is the week we get lost. Like it's not like our bus fell off the side of a mountain, and it's like you guys want to go on the cold, rainy week and cross rivers, huh?
We're not the smartest survivalists. We wouldn't have crossed the river if you were there, that's for sure. Yeah.
I could have crossed a river.
I could barely cross that one. Maybe you do better. I don't know. But
I would have gotten in the water.
How
deep is it? I can swim.
It got about thigh deep. You wouldn't have had to swim, that's for sure. But you might have been like I can imagine a scenario where you fall and then you stand up again 10, 12 feet, downriver. And yeah, but anyway, for me, a lot of guys are like, "Oh, Woody kicked him off because of the OJ thing." No, for me, it was a string of things. Some of it being like you were often like the first to want to leave the show, or you'd sleep through some shows, or you'd schedule other things, so you had to miss the show. It seemed like we were working around your schedule the most, and
that was toward the end.
Yeah.
Like toward the beginning, I was the one that was always on the show. Like I never missed.
Yeah, that's true. That's true in the very beginning.
And like I said, I was getting. I don't know. I wasn't mentally healthy then. Like I'm much better. I was much better. I'm in a much better place mentally right now. I'm in a much better place financially right now, to be honest. Even though I got shit going on right now in my life that kind of fucking sucks.
I won't say anything unless you do.
Right. I don't want to talk about that.
Okay. But anyway, I was gonna put up this video, and I was like, people are gonna act like we're firing shots at each other or something, and that's not what I'm going for.
Why is that always the first place people go?
I don't know.
And to be perfectly honest, I always faulted Lefty for getting me kicked off PKA because Lefty made it the majority.
No, it was unanimous.
Right, but if Lefty was like, "Oh, I want wings on," so Wings and Lefty wants wings on. It'd be 2v2.
I hear you. Yeah, I think you should fault everybody. And I don't want to dodge my responsibility, but yeah, I wonder how things would have changed, right? Because PKA has done some good stuff since then, right? People really love this week's show, so I'm all chest out like a peacock right now. But like, I mean, like financially, we've got the sponsors, we've got the Patreon, we've got all that stuff. Chiz came in and he's become a really good business manager for it.
But a terrible stable boy.
People have that wrong too. Like I saw, here's the deal. Chiz was here, I don't know how long, maybe 3 months. And for the first half of it, like, we worked really hard on that stable. We were out there, and there were some bad weather days, as in like 100-degree melting, instantly exhausted stuff. But then towards the end, he was busy with Woodycraft, and the labor just wasn't his cup of tea. And he missed his dad. And that's the truth.
Well, I figured it. Let me ask you, why are you building a stable?
I'm not building a stable. So I bought a house that had a stable with tornado damage. And basically, for me, it's just going to be a big shed. Like, we've got a couple lawnmowers and a tractor, and I want to keep them under a roof.
I thought, like, are you going to like herd cows or shit off?
No. The tractors have implements, and we're going to keep them, under a roof.
So the property you bought had a tractor that came with it? I
bought the tractor, actually. Yeah, no. But I needed a place to keep the tractor. And it's like, you're going to tear down this stable or you're going to fix it because it's got to be watertight. And it had tornado damage. Like, the tornado ripped the roof off of it. And it's like, let's get this thing sorted out. So when we bought the house, they had the place estimated. and they said the stable added $0 to the property. And I was like, yeah, like it's not junk to me because it keeps my stuff dry. So I'm making it right.
So, what do you want to tackle first? Do you want to go into the survival talk? Explain what happened last week?
Sure.
Do you want me to start?
I could go either way. I don't know. So I'm sitting here wondering, like, how many I guess a lot of the people seeing this haven't seen my videos, where I sort of logged it. We should probably go under the assumption that more people see this than the survival videos.
True.
Kick it off, Kyle.
All right, so I'm gonna skip a few things. By the way, you should go watch Woody's vlogs. He's got like 13 of them up. They're pretty short and sweet, but they give you the gist of just about everything that happened. I'm going to be uploading a few more on my channel, youtube.com/FPS, and that'll probably be about the time that this goes up. So what happened was we met up at our meet spot by the Uwharrie National Wilderness Area. We got our bait, and actually we didn't get any bait. We got our tackle and any last-minute items we needed, fishing license, etc., and we headed into the fucking wilderness. And we parked the truck, started walking, and we walked, I don't know, we walked a good ways.
Couple hours.
Yeah, along the side of the Uwharrie River, which I had only ever seen before in satellite imaging. And it turns out that thing's a little bit bigger than it looks from space.
In the satellite images, it looked like there were areas where you could step on top of the rocks and like skip your way across. And if you see rocks coming out of the river that you can walk across, probably the space between the rocks is only knee deep or so, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was not the case. No. When we got there, the rocks were not dry. They were covered by raging river. And thank you.
Yeah,
for
tell us
holding my
about that
hand.
crossing. Woody. Tell us what was
All
that.
right.
What
happened there?
So from my point of view, I basically said, "Does this look like a good spot to cross?" And we kind of agreed that it was, and I took my sneakers off and put my mandals on that everyone likes to make fun of so much, and I started heading across. I got across, and I don't know, it probably took me 10 minutes to get across, and I realized I didn't have my phone. It had fallen out of my pocket on the other side of the river. So I made a walking stick, crossed back to the other side, and retrieved my phone plus about half of Woody's gear.
That's so unfair. That's so unfair because I had
it
like
was unfair.
A
it was
40
unfair
or
for me to
50
carry your
pound
thing.
pack on my back, and he's like, "Then I carried Woody's stuff," and by that he means like the bedroll.
I carried Woody's bedroll and a plastic bag full of other items, plus my phone and maybe something else. I carried that stuff across to the other side of the river once again, and then I started waiting on Woody to make his way, and he picked a walking stick that I would not have picked.
Walking stick
Mine was
fine.
about 5.5 feet long and pretty skinny, and his was about 3 feet long and really fat.
One might call it the thick six.
Yes, he pulled out a thick six and tried to navigate these rapids with it, and the current was really strong, guys. Like it's pushing against your legs, and every step you take is an unbalanced one. You feel like you're going to lose your footing, fall on the thing, and just get washed down river. So I crossed the river again and took Woody by the hand and led him back across.
No,
and finally, two of us were both on the same correct side of the river.
I didn't make a big deal out of the footwear on the subreddit, but I really think that because we crossed again at like I don't know what time it was. I'm gonna call it 2 a.m.
1 a.m.
Okay. But it was dark out. The river was even stronger because like it had started to like drizzle or something. And we did another river crossing, but this time because we were headed home, I wore my shoes. Like I didn't care if they got soaked, and I walked across pretty much fine. It was the barefoot that actually made a big difference.
I didn't realize you were barefoot at the time. That would have made it rough.
Yeah, the rocks were like incredibly slippery, and it was. If I were to do it again, what I brought in terms of I brought hiking boots and I brought flip-flops, like little rubber flip-flops, and they're nice for hiking because they're so lightweight and you can just throw them in your pack or hang them on, and that's really where my experience was based in. But for this kind of thing where you really only hiked a couple hours, then you intend to stay there for a week, I could have brought mandals like Kyle had because they were a better pick.
Optimal. So then we walked a bit further and we found our campsite. We went pretty high up as far as elevation, away from the rivers because we were expecting a couple of inches of rain the next day. And we started making our camp. You know, we chopped down, I'm going to call it 30 trees, started building our shelter, got our firewood established, and pretty much got our camp done. We also cut down a really big tree that fell right
I would say
across the
30
camp.
saplings in a tree.
Yeah. We cut a big tree down with our bare fucking hands, pretty much.
Bare hands. There was no cutting of that tree.
I chewed that son of a bitch.
My testosterone level was rising just because I became such a macho badass as I cut down the trees. Carry on.
So we had our camp pretty well established, and we decided to walk back down to the river and cast our lines out there. And we did so, and I'm just going to skip to the end on the fishing part. We never caught a fish. Not one. Although I will say this, occasionally these big, beautiful, delicious-looking fish would jump clear out of the water and mock me. And
That's exactly it. I think I saw one fish do this. Just throwing that out there.
They were flying out of the water, just giving us the fuck you and swimming back away. It was terrible. And so we're getting pretty hungry at this point, and you know we would go back and forth between fishing and our shelter. We wanted to recast the lines, check them for food, etc., and then go back and start improving our shelter. And we got our shelter pretty well established. It just needed to be thatched up so that it was weatherproof. But we had the structure there, and we were down there fishing. And I look upriver about 250 yards, pretty much the same as meters for the rest of you guys.
Okay, carry on.
And there's what I don't know what they're called, but it's a stork. There's a stork up there, and I'm pretty sure these things are protected by some law. But I was really, really hungry, and so I'm like, I'm gonna go kill that fucking bird, and we're gonna eat. So I grab Woody's rifle and I start running back up river, but I go into the forest a little bit so he doesn't see me coming. These things have really good eyesight, believe it or not. I get all the way down there. It's 250 yards. It's 500 feet. I run 500 feet in a roundabout way, and he's gone. And I'm just like, fuck. 250 yards is 750 feet. You were right. I run 750 feet, and this motherfucker is gone. And I'm like, shit. I was expecting food at this juncture. So I jog back to Woody, and I'm like, you're not going to believe it. I got there. He was gone. I turn around, and I point back up river. I was like, he was right there. And there he is. He's back in the same goddamn spot. And I'm like, I'm going to go kill that motherfucker. BRB. And so I start jogging again. I do the jog again. Get down there. He's gone. I shit you not. Now I'm
Was
just
this a mirage story?
No, it's a smart bird story. So I jog all the way back. So now I've jogged 3,000 feet, over half a mile. I jog all the way back.
Oh wait, maybe it is 3,000. Yeah, back.
Yeah,
okay,
3,000.
carry on. My mistake.
And I'm like, Woody, you're not gonna believe it. He was gone again. And I look downriver, 250 yards, and there the motherfucker is.
Yeah.
And
And then he
point
comes
at him.
flying by.
Yeah, as we point at him, he takes off, makes this big looping circle, and goes back to where we originally saw him. And I was like, all right, we're not capable of dealing with him. Now, he's too smart for us. We can't handle him. If I'd had a more high-powered rifle, like a 5.56, I'd have totally sniped him out. It'd been done. But we didn't. So then I'm like, these fish aren't working. I don't see any crayfish. There's nowhere really to build those fish traps we talked about. Well, it's turtle time. It's turtle time. Mm-hmm. We're going to eat those turtles that keep popping up for air in the river.
Mocking us with the fish.
Yeah. They would come up. They'd come up to the top of the water, stick their heads up, get a couple breaths of air, and then go back down. And there was a really big tree that had fallen into the river. And I get up on that tree and go out into the water on the tree. So I'm looking at a downward angle to the water, so my bullets won't skip and they'll be more effective. And I just wait. And finally, a turtle pops up. It's about the size of a dinner plate, I'm gonna say. And I shoot the thing, and he's dead. He's dead. He's just floating there. And I'm like, Woody, I got it. We're gonna eat. Run back down to Woody, give him his rifle, and I start swimming across this fucking river. And I'm not a good swimmer. I'm no Woody's gamer tag. So I'm wondering at this point why Woody's gamer tag didn't show off his Aquaman skills and swim that fucking river.
I didn't even see the turtle. This isn't even a confirmed kill. Like I didn't.
I saw the turtle. He was done.
He saw the turtle with the mirage,
Yeah, right. It was next to the fake store. Carry on.
Done. Swim across the river, get over there. The son of a bitch has sank to the bottom. He's gone. He's gone. And I am exhausted in a way that it's not like being tired. I'm exhausted. I feel like my chest feels hollow.
And
my
he's
stomach
low on
feels
food
hollow.
at this point too. I mean, he ate breakfast and it's probably 7 p.m.
Yeah, yeah. So I start throwing up right about then. I threw up a couple times, crossed the river. It took me much longer to cross the river this time, even though I was waiting. I went upriver where it was more shallow. And from then on, I just really felt like shit. We got back to camp. I laid down on my mat just on the ground. Ticks got all over me. Chiggers got in my legs. Chiggers are like these worms that burrow into your skin. And you want to take it from there?
So let's see. At that point, we went back up. We had a little more shelter to do. I think maybe I worked on the shelter a little bit. I definitely got the fire cooking. And I had this idea that if we could get Kyle warmed up, dry, and rested, that he might, recover to some extent. And there we laid for like the next 6 or 7 hours. It's hard to track time. He kept throwing up. It was like, I don't know how frequent he was throwing up. I'll call it every 40 minutes or so, but it was a lot, right? Sometimes productive, sometimes just dry heaving, but the guy was sick, really sick. And,
oh, and it was the bad kind of vomiting. It wasn't like, all right, I'm drunk, let's get all of this out. It wasn't like that. It was like, there's nothing in me, but my body still thinks there's like poison inside of me, and I'm just like retching, and my stomach is just tightening into this ball, and it's really painful. And I'm trying to control my breathing to control the impulse to vomit, and I'm just like, and I know Woody must be thinking, is he gonna die on me?